Yes, people! Yes! Ali here at 16BITSANDBOBS. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's wicked. This is a proper exciting one. Why? Because it is. I spoke to the amazing Rowan at MBP. He makes these awesome instruction manuals for your games. You know, when you get your game and you open it and it's empty. He makes books for it. They are so cool. I spoke to him earlier on today. Let's jump into the interview. And he has given 16 bits and bobs an exclusive discount. Details to follow at the end of the video. If you want a discount on one of these amazing books, please check him out. Here's the interview. Yes, people. Roll VT. Yes, people. Ali here at 16 bits and bobs. I am here with the amazing Mr. Rowan. How are you, my friend?
I'm not too bad, thank you very well. How are you doing?
Brilliant. We had some technical issues. I'm awful with technology. As everyone knows, I'm a retro gamer, so this is my first ever Zoom kind of call what I've hosted myself. So apologies, Mr. Rowan. Let's get straight into it. So basically,
it's fine.
Yeah, I met you at London Gamers Market, which was a little while back, not too long ago.
Yeah, mid March, wasn't it?
Mid-March, and you had a stall selling these awesome instruction manuals, right? How did you get into it? What inspired you to make these great little publications?
It's a little bit of a long story. I'll try and shorten up a little bit for you. But it basically stemmed up, I got a Nintendo Switch in like 2017, 2018 area when Super Mario Odyssey came out. And I started playing the game. And when I bought the game, I opened up and I was like, oh, it's a bit empty, a bit naff. And it kind of just got this like little process rolling of like, oh, maybe that, why does it have clips in there when, I was like, I thought I checked the other ones I had, Zelda, Breath of the Wild and a few other games I had at the time. I was like, yeah, they're all empty. That's really weird. I was like, that's a bit of a shame really, because it's just a cartridge in a case. And I thought I'd dabble, I thought I'll make like a little something for myself, and I had my little home printer. And I made something and it was completely awful in quality retrospect for Super Mario Odyssey. And that was in 2018. And some, I posted up a little bit and some people were like, oh, that's pretty cool and that sort of thing. And I thought, oh, yeah, it's quite a bit nice. I sent it out to a few people who wanted it. But I was like, if I want to do it a bit bigger, I'd try and, want it to be good quality.
Yeah, sure.
But then my hard drive died, so I lost all the work.
Oh
no! So then I kind of just feel like, I can't be bothered to make another one. I've got work and everything because I'm a firefighter and stuff as well. So I was like, I'll just mosey on doing that.
Oh, big up the firefighters! Big them up as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my on-call job. Which I've been doing for like about 5-ish years now. But yeah, so COVID hit. And just at the beginning, I was like, "Gosh, I'm really bored," and I was playing some more games because I had a lot more free time in lockdown. And I thought, oh yeah, because it's been pondering in my mind for ages. In the fact that it's although basically apart from indie developers, still in that. I was always and ahhing, should I make another one? Should I recreate the work type thing? And I thought, while I'm in lockdown, I'll see if anything's out there. And to my surprise, even 2 years after I thought of making it, no one made any, and I was like, oh my god. So I thought I'd if I'm going to do it, I'll do it well, hopefully. So I checked up on the designs, and I'm a lot better now at template that I had, because a lot of it was once it was made, you couldn't really edit the file stuff. Now it's a lot easier, but main thing was getting printing. I was like, this is the size I want. I got to find printers, and I tried to hunt a load of proper printers and speak to them and everything. And luckily I got to know someone who said, hey, it's a really odd size you got, but I think we can kind of make it work. And I was like, oh yeah, please do. And he made me a small batch, and then I shared it on Facebook, and then everyone was like, oh my gosh, where can I get one?
It's
and I went,
amazing.
oh crap. so yeah. But I made it because I really wanted a Breath of the Wild mini companion. I saw people post up on like Zelda groups because I love Zelda. It's my favorite.
I love
series.
Zelda as well. And Breath of the Wild is an amazing game. It
is such a good game.
Yeah.
And I saw someone make this hand drawn. She had like this big notebook of things she was checking off as she went, and I was like, I would love that, but something that just fits in the case. And I thought, while I make that, I'll remake the Mario Odyssey booklet, so I don't lose the will to live. And I'll go get them both printed. And so it kind of was like just doing that. And then when I shared it, being like, this is my little mini companion for Zelda, that's where it kind of sort of went off. And then Animal Crossing came out,
which was
and people were asking. Game. It was a great lockdown game, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And I got a really big life lesson in these booklets for that one, because I really wanted to make it. But obviously, Animal Crossing is a really big game to 100%. So I tried using a lot of online resources to see what was available, so I can put the information in there. Because it was more like, still at a time, more for me. A couple of other people wanted it. I wasn't thinking, as a business thing. It was just sort of just a bit of a hobby thing. I'm trying now to make it more a bit something I can live with, live to keep doing. So I sort of made that one, and the one area was all the fossils for them, and
loads of fossils.
There's lots of fossils. Unfortunately, lovely IGN, they used the information from the last game, which wasn't in this new one. So I kind of had a bit of a heart attack because they're quite expensive to print. You see, especially in small quantities, and changing them also can get quite expensive, especially when
it's quite unique, ain't it? Like you said, the size and everything is quite
it's more expensive because it's small. Strange enough, you think less paper and everything, but it's just
crazy. But I get that.
So I was playing the game that night, and I got a fossil, and I thought, I've not written this down. What's happened? And that's when I learned that you can't really trust IGN on what they say, and you should have multiple sources of information. Because I kind of panicked, remade like the fossil pages, and then paid extra so that I didn't have 50 odd booklets that were a complete waste, which was quite funny at the time, but I was like, oh my goodness. But it worked really well, and everyone seemed to really like that one. And then it's kind of one of those things where I bought smaller quantities, and then I slowly get to there's still quite small quantities in the grand scheme of things, but it kind of helped build up a little sort of I've got I can make about this much of this and stuff.
Definitely got a fan base. I mean, I know you sell your stuff, like as I said, you was at London Gamers Market, but you've got your own Etsy page, and you've got some great sales, and the feedback is really encouraging. It's positive, and people seem to be loving it. You've definitely tapped into a market where, do you know what? A lot of retro gamers like myself, we love a physical copy. If there's a digital version or a physical version, I'll always go physical. But you open up the box and it's empty, like you said. Like you said. So when I saw this, I was like, this has got to go. It just looks great in the book, in the case. And you've got a great little fan base. You've built up a really good following.
It is it's quite surprising, because it's something you're not aware about, really. You kind of just, people are like, oh, can you do this one? And you go, I should be able to do that one. That's fine and everything. But it really hit off last year, I think, to my surprise. Spawn Wave and that reviewed them. It reviewed the 3D All Stars one. And then before I knew it, it kind of got flooded a little bit. And I kind of looked and went, oh my dear Lord, what, but it was a really overwhelming in a good way. It obviously meant I had a lot of work to do to try and make them and make sure that they're still good and everything. But you know, it's just then when you get the feedback from people and everything, it's just it just gives you all the warm fuzzy feelings, you know. And it
makes
really
it all worthwhile, don't
helps. It does, yeah. And it you know, it gives you so much motivation for doing the next one, you know, because some of them, like that 3D World one, that was a long process.
And it is actually a decent size.
It's the biggest, yeah. It's
I remember you
58
saying,
pages or so, or 56. But it's, yeah, that one took a long while. There's a lot of checkout lists and everything, which is what I try and do as well. A lot of reviews, you know, some people say like, no one needs a manual anymore. They got tutorials, you know, all that sort of stuff. And so I aim where I can, if it's suited in the game, to be like, you know, you have the controls in case you're like me and forget them after a couple of months, especially when you're like halfway through a game and they're now quite challenging, you know. But then also you have all the progressional aspect or some, so that it, you know, something you can write in or something you can take note of, you know. So it's good for older generation, possibly younger, newer generation, you know, and also, you know, it gives it a bit of an edge, a bit extra, really, instead of just reading.
The Switch is a weird one in a sense where, me personally, I'm a retro gamer. I still play on the Mega Drive and the SNES.
Oh yeah,
I play them more than new games. But when the Switch came out, it kind of felt like the golden days again, because it brought back a new lease of life. And there's a lot of retro gamers who say the Switch is one of their favorite consoles because it's got such a massive catalog of games. There's a lot of retro games on there, and they like physical. So when everything comes out in the cases, and when I saw Rob at London Gamers Market, big shout out to Rob as well. He came and bought 2 from you. He was like, "Wow, that is awesome! That is awesome!" So people are definitely loving it. They are absolutely loving it. And I was going to ask you, when you're talking about you doing your research for the booklets, is it all kind of done online, or do you kind of, is there a lot of play in as well?
No, yeah. So there is a lot of play. It depends how far in the booklet. For like Link's Awakening, I played like about 3 or 4 hours of it, because, you know, a manual should explain stuff, not give the whole spoiler game away, really. That's what I try and do. So it's I play enough where I get to grips on the whole systems and how it works. If there's some elements towards the end of the game or something I need to confirm about, I'll look it up online. You know, from like a few different areas to make sure, you know, like these controls are correct. Just, you know, if I was after this, does it work like this? You know, because as much as I can play a game for, you know, 5-6 hours, you know, a night trying to write everything down and stuff, I might not get it right. I might miss something, you know, especially if it's like Breath of the Wild, you know, how am I going to know where all the Korok seeds are in the region, or what shine has, you know, trying to 100% that, you know, so I can write it down in a
book just for the Korok seeds.
Oh God, that took so many. I was counting them like so many. I was like, okay, so there's this one here, okay, and then there's like an odd one there, and that odd with this. I was like,
how many were there? Was it 900?
Yeah, there's 900. So in the book, there's 900 Korok seeds you can tick off for the region. And they do all add up to 900, because that's another, I get quite OCD about some things, because obviously you know, if things are incorrect, which does happen occasionally, you know, as much as I can spell check and everything, and I get people to read, sometimes it's not exact or 100%. So I do revisions, and for people that want one, I resend another one out, because, you know, I want you to have something that's good to enjoy. It's a lot easier now with dynamic spell checking, sure. You know, even though I'm in UK, sometimes it's US spelling or whatever for some reason. But yeah, it's one of those things I get pretty OCD on. So I'm like checking 5-6 times just to make sure that certain things are the number. Because I also get like quite easily gullible in something. Like in Zelda, I think you can have 30 hearts in total. You know, which is the biggest. Normally it's 20. when I did all the hearts in the lineup, 3 is default. So I, kind of would be like this. So when someone saw that and they went, "You don't have that many," like in the post, I went, "Don't you?" Okay, let me just, and I had to go double check just to make sure. I was like, no, it's right. It is right. Just calm down. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But
awesome. That's awesome. And can you reveal, are you currently making something at the moment?
Yeah. I've put it up on Twitter, I think a little bit, but I'm making the Kirby for Forgotten Land.
Kirby's anniversary, weren't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I like the anniversary ones, and I put like a little anniversary logo or something in there, which kind of adds a little something to it, makes it look a bit nice. Yeah. But yeah, I love this one because I wasn't originally going to do Kirby, but then when I saw I thought I'd toy with an idea of him eating the manual, and it got really cute, and I kind of just thought it was adorable, and then I thought I have to make it now, really. So all the control side bits of the manual is done. I'm now doing the booklet style, like 3D World. So we have a tick off or check thing for the waddle dees and making sure you got the levels done and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's where I am with it at the minute.
That is awesome. So we can't wait for that, obviously. Are you making books for like kind of games you like, or is it for what you think's popular?
It varies. I have a little Trello list of all people's suggestions that I put in. And it kind of works. And I think if you have an account, you can vote on one that you want. So it's kind of a sum up of like, I'll look into most popular, what ones do people want? Because, it's nice for me going, oh, I'd really love this game or something. But if I'm the only one that's going to do it, I'll do it probably a little bit later. I want to enjoy my collection as well as other people have it for theirs if they want it and that sort of thing. So it works on a bit of popularity. It like Kirby, especially kind of, it just released or something. So I kind of just get a bit ooh-ah-y in on that and put a few things on pause. But the main thing as well is resources, really. There are some games that would be quite good to do, but there's not a lot of imagery available for it or something. So I have to wait until I can get an artist to make that or sort a few other bits out. So then I'm like, cool, I have some decent content to put into it. Otherwise, it is quite empty. And there's other ones like Smash Bros where it's huge and I have to plan it because that's a very big game. So everyone asks for that, and I will get there, but it's a styling issue that I'm having at the minute with it. So once that's over and I figure out how it's gonna work without making the case bulge. All the
no one likes a bulgy case.
no. Well, the 3D world is kind of like the limit in its size. It gets bigger, you'll just have like a warped case, really, where the booklet's just too big. So it's a no-go in my book, really. Yeah.
Mr. Rowan, how can people find you? Give yourself a big up. Where can they find you?
Oh, right. Yes.
All that kind of wicked
stuff. All that stuff. Yeah. So it's actually quite an interesting time. So my main place where you can get them at the minute is Etsy, which is under MBP UK. I do have a Twitter, which is RowanFN, and it's the same for my Instagram. I'm currently working on a website and a shopfront there, which later will go to eBay and Amazon. I think, because Etsy's increased their fees. So I thought I'd make a website where you can still hopefully get the same pricing on there because there's less free fees. Whereas unfortunately, Etsy will have to go up a little bit just to combat the fees, really. Because otherwise, it's sad. I hate rising prices stuff. It's something I never want to do.
But sometimes you have to, if prices are going up, then products have to go up, So.
I know. I just feel so bad because I'm like, I'd love it to be cheaper, and a price where, everyone's like, oh, it's cheap as chips or something, like a couple of quid. But unfortunately, I'm not a multi-billion-pound company.
Well, exactly.
And the quality that I like paper-wise and that sort of thing is kind of the the higher end for per book, really, and everything.
Yeah, and I guess that's why people love them, and that's why people are prepared to pay the price for them. Because I've got to say, people, you've got to get one. I mean, they are. I fell in love with it when I saw it, and I'm definitely going to buy some more. And everyone, do you know what? I did like what was it? It was I do like a collect videos where I pick stuff up, and it was at London Gamers Market, and I had loads of comments saying, "Where did you get that from?" And I left the link, and there's a lot of love for it. So go check it out.
Thank you.
People, it is wicked. It is wicked. Mr. Rowan,
yes.
Thank you so much, my friend. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, if there's anything else you want to know or do anything, at a later, if you want to give a shout out or do a sale run, I can give your viewers a bit of a discount code.
Where are most of your sales based? Would you say, are you getting like international sales from people from the States and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, a lot of it comes from the States.
Really?
Yeah, that is where the majority come off from it. But it's crazy. I did like a little chart last year of, I write down where countries are and everything, and the biggest one is like the US, Canada, and then it's about us afterwards, but it goes all around the world. It's crazy. As far as Australia, Japan, sort of Bangladesh, everywhere under the sun, which is amazing.
You know what? Have Nintendo ever got in contact with you, or like game developers or publishers said just to say this is awesome?
Yes, so I've had one of the most lovely things I've had was someone was a 3D artist for Metroiddread.
Yeah,
and they messaged me saying that is really cool. They're a 3D artist. Thanks for sort of doing it, type thing. And I thought that was really, really lovely.
That is
because I was like, that's like someone who made the game, like the work and that sort of thing. So I was like, that's really nice of them. But yeah, that's I've done a few commissions sort of before for a few people, that sort of thing. I did like if you ever know Premium Edition Games, their little retro works, I did the first 2 manuals for those. So there's a couple of bits and bobs, but it's just sort of seeing where time is really. I'm trying to get more of a structure and a schedule sorted, or at least keep people more updated on it. So yeah, I don't know.
We look forward to it.
I don't know how. I'm learning how it goes, really, to be honest.
Yeah, it's an amazing learning process, and we learn as we go along, and it just gets better and better, doesn't it? Because you're getting more of a pro at it. I mean, the quality is amazing, the product's amazing, and it speaks for itself.
Thank you.
Sales do, and the love does. The love does. Do you know what? I'm just going to check my paper because I want to make sure.
Yeah, you can ask me whatever you like.
I was going to ask you just a question. What are you playing at the moment? Do you have time to be playing anything at the moment? Like it might not have nothing to do with your instruction manuals, but what kind of games do you like to play? Like
I've been playing a few games. One game that I've been itching to play is the new Borderlands Wonderland.
Yeah,
because I love Tiny T.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, I love the DLC. So this game just seems a massive expansion from that. But I've obviously been playing Kirby Forgotten Land.
Yeah.
So that's been quite a nice sort of like little experience. And apart from that, recently I think it was the Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh yeah.
Forbidden West, which I'm only about like a couple of hours in, and then I started playing Kirby. Really. So but I love those. I love those sort of games anyway. So I kind of alternate a little bit, really.
Yeah, mix it up.
Yeah, because there are times where I can binge a game, but then I get a little bit burnt candle at both ends type thing. So it's nice to spice up the genres. Do something?
Definitely. And would you say Sega or Nintendo?
Nintendo for me.
Oh, we're gonna have to end the call now. All right, fair enough. Do you know what? I do love a Switch, to be fair. I always go on about Sega because I absolutely love Sega. But
Sega is great in many areas. But I mean, I am a born bred Nintendo fanboy technically. So
did you have a Nintendo your first ever console? Would you say?
Yeah, it was a Nintendo 64.
Nice.
I remember getting from the store and everything, and then got the GameCube. Sold the GameCube to get a Wii. Loved the Wii experience, but then later regretted selling all the GameCube games. So then I kind of had to rebuy all of them all. There were some really good ones, which I wish I kept. I mean, I got them again now, so that's fine. But then, got the Wii U and everything, which is a surprisingly great console.
It is. There's a great catalogue of games on it.
Yeah, the really library on it is
the library's amazing,
brilliant. Yeah. And then obviously now a Switch, sort of thing. But I do have other consoles. I don't just solely have Nintendo.
Yeah.
I did span out. After a while, I was like, I will try these things. I have to say, my least used though is an Xbox. Really.
Oh, what, the new one or like the old one?
I did get an Xbox S.
Oh yeah,
like a slim one of the last generation, but I only bought it for the like the 4K Blu-ray player. Because the other games were kind of on the PC, and I prefer the PS4 exclusives than the Xbox ones or the Nintendo exclusive games on whatnot. So I kind of haven't really played an Xbox in a while.
Do you know what? I only bought an Xbox because at the time it was an Xbox exclusive, and it was for Cuphead.
Oh, really?
It was an Xbox exclusive.
Cuphead is a good game.
It's a great game. I was going to say, but there's no physical copy of the game. I was going to say, a book would be amazing. There's not that I know of, unless like limited run or someone like that's done like an exclusive batch, but there was never a physical release of that game, unfortunately.
I mean, limited run great games are great if they come with manuals and that sort of thing. But then it's always hard that once
they're really
that's it, like once they've sold out and everything like that, it would be hard a little bit to make a manual for it, because then everyone's like, I'll buy a manual, but now it's like £100 for the game.
Yeah.
A little bit hit a bit there. But that's right. But there are some games I'm really hoping come physical, like Tunic, if you've seen that game recently.
Tunic, do you know what?
I have played that recently as well. That's a great game.
It is a beautiful looking game, ain't it?
It is. It's very Zelda-esque, and it's a fox, which is part of my last name. So, I was drawn in immediately.
It's a cool name. Do you like Star Fox as well?
Yes, I do.
I'm a fantastic.
I mean, anything with a fox in it, really. I'm kind of just like.
There's a Master System game called Psycho Fox.
Is there?
That is an incredible game as well.
I'm gonna have to play that now.
Yeah, check it out. It's one of my favorite Master System games, actually.
Is it? All right. I'm writing that down. Psycho Fox on it.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much again. Thank you for watching, people. Go check it out. And
thank you so much for having me, and all the support and everything, and this meeting, and just everything in general.
Of course. Big love. Okay, let's stop recording. How do we stop recording? Magic. I hear it. Stop
with the power of editing.
Awesome stuff. Let's big him up. Let's show him some love. Let's show him the support. Let's show him the 16 bits and bobs love. How do you do that? Well, if you want to buy one of his booklets, his instruction booklets, they are awesome quality. I wouldn't be recommending these if I didn't think they were good, and they are awesome. If you go over to his page on Etsy, link in the description, he's going to give 10% off your order. 10%. If you type in 16 bits and bobs, type in 16 bits and bobs, is going to give you 10% off. How awesome is that? Proper nice guy. Proper nice guy, isn't it? Show him the love. Show him the love. And you know what? You will love it. Put it in your case. It's going to look wicked. It's just a nice thing to have. And it's supporting a local business. Show the love. Thank you so much for watching, people. Thank you so much for watching. Next week is going to be a wicked video. It is the Street Fighter 2 Turbo tournament. What happened on the 23rd? What happened? That's going to be coming up. That's another video. Thanks so much for watching. You know what it is. You know what it is. You know what it is. 16BITSAndBOBS. Yes. Love. Boom.